back to Political Sanity. I just want to welcome everybody back. It's been about a week and a half since we did our last video. Thank you for joining us. We took a little bit of a break. I wasn't satisfied with the last video I made, so I decided to change things up. I've been scripting this whole thing too much, so now we're just going to have a nice organic conversation regarding political topics, political issues, and of course, political insanity. So once again, this is Political Sanity. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Send your local instances of political insanity to politicalsanitynow@gmail.com. I'd love to hear from you all. Again, thank you everybody for your support. Thank you for watching the videos. I really appreciate it. This is not bad camera work. This is how we're going to do it. This is how we're filming it for right now. So just let's put that out there right away. We're going to talk about three things today. All right. One, we're going to talk about two instances, of political insanity. One from the Biden administration and one from the great state of New York, which has been all over the news lately. But let's talk about the elephant in the room right now. Let's talk about this impeachment of former President Trump that occurred. Yesterday was the final vote, 57-43, with 7 Republicans voting to impeach. This is the 4th impeachment trial. This is the closest that any president has come to actually getting the 2/3 vote in the Senate to actually be impeached. How do I feel? This was a political sham. Both sides knew it going into this. We saw that earlier yesterday. They had debated whether to have witnesses. The Senate voted to actually call witnesses. And then they went into a sidebar about an hour or two later, and they decided there were going to be no witnesses. Let's just go ahead and vote, and they voted right away. Both sides knew the outcome of this, and that's why they decided not to call witnesses after they voted to allow witnesses, because they didn't want to drag this out. Neither side wanted to drag this out, knowing what the outcome would be. So why was it done? Like I said in a previous video, this was done for 2024. This was done to prevent Donald Trump from ever running for office again. It was also a political ploy on the part of the Democrats to take over the House and to increase their lead in the Senate. How would they do this? This put pressure on Republicans. We know previously in 2018 that Republicans started to lose suburbia. We saw in 2020 they start to take back, make some gains, take some gains back. What this did, the Democrats just did here, was say, here are the Republicans in the House that voted not to impeach him. Let's start to vote these people out. Let's start to whittle them out. That'll stop any momentum in their minds of Republicans gaining back the House. Also, it helped, it's the Democrats' idea that this will also help their majority in the Senate. Right now it's 50-50. Right? So what do? Again, they put Republicans' feet to the fire and say, who's for it, who's against it? And they're going to go after those people that voted, those 43 senators that voted not to convict the president. And rest assured, that's what the midterm election in 2022 is going to be all about. It's going to be about this impeachment vote in the House and in the Senate. Again, this impeachment was a sham. Everyone knew what the outcome was going to be. So let's talk about some political insanity, all right, that occurred. We're going to talk about an instance of political insanity from the state of New York. Has to do with the Governor CUOMO, and COVID. So in New York State, in the beginning of this COVID pandemic, about a year ago, the policy was when someone from a nursing home came down with COVID in a hospital, they were sent back to that facility. This obviously caused a spread in nursing homes. The death toll in nursing homes was extremely high, all right, as compared to the overall death rate. So what the state of New York started to do was, instead of counting people who got sick in nursing homes and went to hospitals and subsequently died in the hospital, right? They didn't count those as nursing home deaths. They counted those as regular hospital deaths, regular COVID deaths. They should have been counted as nursing home deaths. That's where it was contracted. Yes, they didn't die there, but that's where it was contracted. And they happened to die in a hospital. So what this did is it greatly underestimated the number of deaths that occurred in nursing homes. People over the past have been questioning the governor about this, and he has always said, that's the number, that's what we were told to do, yada, yada, yada. Until recently. The other day, Melissa DeRosa, who's a secretary to the governor, a top aide to the governor also, came out and said that they intentionally gave a false number reported a false number of nursing home deaths to the federal government. Why? Because they did not want the Trump administration to make this a political issue. That's their excuse. So they basically lied. They lied to the people of New York. They lied to the federal government. Why? For political gain. Right? That's what they did here. So, how is this uncovered? Surprisingly, Letitia James, who's the Attorney General for the state of New York, probably the most liberal Attorney General in the United States, discovered this and uncovered this. And she has vowed an investigation, which it definitely has to be. Representatives from New York have petitioned the Department of Justice to investigate this on the grounds of obstruction of justice and other various grounds. And several newspaper outlets have called for his resignation. This is insane. This guy has done nothing but act like a dictator through this whole thing. He talks about other people acting like dictators. This man has acted like a dictator through this whole COVID pandemic. And this is just one of the instances of that. There's no reason for this except for political gain, which was admitted. He admitted that he lied for political gain. And this is what is wrong with the country. This is what is wrong with our system. This is political insanity. I don't know what else to say about it, except he has to make this right. Some way. Apologize, do something. But right now, he's totally speechless. Nothing has come out of his office. regarding this, except to say that they were following federal guidelines. That seems to be his fallback. You know, doesn't blame himself. Let's blame the federal government. You know, it's not my fault I lied about nursing home deaths. It's Donald Trump's fault because he would have made it a political issue. That's basically what he's saying here. Governor CUOMO, just come out and tell us what went on. Give us the real numbers. So the last numbers that we have was something around 8,505 nursing home deaths were the number they were given. It's estimated that death toll is as much as 50% more, so in the 13,000 range. And that's just an estimate right now. So hopefully we get the real numbers soon. Our third topic we're going to talk about is another instance of political insanity. I'm sorry, I can't talk today. Of political insanity. And it comes from the Biden administration. So there's been talk of banning domestic travel to the state of Florida because of their COVID numbers. Governor Ron DeSantis today gave a press conference and said basically what I'm about to say, that this is completely insane to do this. You're going to limit domestic travel to Florida because of their COVID numbers. Well, let's talk about their COVID numbers. In Florida has a population of 21.48 million people. Right? Let's compare that to New York, where we just talked about Governor CUOMO, 19.45 million people. So roughly 2 million people more than the state of New York. In Florida, there were 28,778 deaths related to COVID. Let's compare that to New York. 45,431 deaths due to COVID. That's approximately 20,000 more deaths in the state of New York than in the state of Florida. Why are we banning travel to Florida? Politics, maybe? Maybe Ron DeSantis is a Republican, and maybe he's going to run for president in 2024. Have we thought of that? So let's punish Florida. Same thing they accused Donald Trump of doing. If anything, why don't we ban it in New York? New York has more deaths, less population, more deaths per capita than Florida. Again, completely insane to talk about banning domestic travel to the state of Florida. All right, you want to go on a state-by-state basis and say, all right, you have to get tested for COVID when you come back from Florida. I can deal with that. Let's be reasonable. I can deal with that. I think that should be true almost between any states right now. It is. Until we get these vaccination numbers up a little bit. But to federally ban travel to a state in the United States is insane. I'm not even sure it's constitutional. I'm not even sure it's legal. And that's basically what the governor of Florida said today. He's like, this is ludicrous. It's insane. So we could come up with a resolution sanely to this. Again, testing, quarantine, vaccinations. But to completely ban travel to Florida, when Florida's death rate is significantly less than New York, that makes zero sense to me. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching this video. I really appreciate it. Hope we're getting better. So just keep watching, Send anything you want me to talk about, anything you want to talk about, any instances of political insanity to politicalsanitynow@gmail.com. Again, subscribe to this channel. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and please keep watching. Man, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. This is Political Sanity.